This short little PowerPoint is going to be getting you ready for Component 2 differentiation and instruction. And I'm not putting this on the full screen because I want to be able to go back and forth to different resources to show you. So the goal for this module is really simple, to simply fully understand what Component 2 is asking you to show. Okay, so you want to go to the boardcertifiedteachers.org certificate area site and download your Component 2 instructions. Now I'm going to actually show you what that looks like. Here's, hopefully by now you're pretty familiar with this site. You're going to go to for candidates, first time candidate, certificates and standards. And let's say you're in art, early and middle childhood. Here it says Component 2. By the way, here are your standards. And okay, so we download Component 2 and you'll see over here it's downloading. Now when I open it up, look at what happens. Wow, what a mess. It downloads as a folder. It's a little zip thing here, you can ignore that. In the folder is your general portfolio instructions. Let's open those up for just a second. I want to show you, these are really, really valuable pages to go through and read. Okay, I'm going to just kind of go through the table of contents for you. Things like getting started, understanding requirements, how to locate things. A lot of these things you will learn by being with us at Stanford. But it's nice to know that you have all this information available to you. This is really helpful, writing about teaching, and it talks about the 3 types of writing, which I will be talking about later. But since we're here, they talk about descriptive, analytical, and reflective writing, and then when you scroll on down, let's see here, about right here, they start giving you examples. These are not examples of quality or even successful writing, but it just kind of helps you to see what they mean by descriptive versus analytical versus reflective. They put them in different fonts. Okay, now I am going to come back to the PowerPoint, and step 4 is to open your Component 2 instructions. Now remember how it was downloaded as a folder? Well, this is a form, contextual information. That's a form that later on you're going to fill out. This is another form that an art candidate would have to complete. Summative assessment. You see here it says Component 2. So you double click on that. Of course, you would be double clicking on your certificate portfolio instructions. But I want to just kind of show you. This is a little overview, and composing the written commentary is where we're going to go. Well, actually, excuse me. I wanted to first have you look at the scoring rubrics. So if we go to the scoring rubrics, super important that you understand this. These bulleted items are taken out of your standards and represent what accomplished teaching looks like using the 5 core propositions and your content standards and the architecture of accomplished teaching. So super important that you understand that this is what you have to show. You have to show clear, consistent, and convincing evidence on all of these bulleted items. Now I want to switch over to the other document on your Canvas page, the overview of Component 2. And I just kind of wanted to show you how you can start filling this in. Component title, differentiation and instruction. It used to be different title for each certificate, and now it's all the same. The standards, what are their numbers and what are their titles? Where do we get that? We're going to go back to the Component 2 instructions, and I'm going to go move this back up so you can see it. Go back up to way further back up towards the beginning. So here's the overview. On the overview page, for everybody's overview, is a short little paragraph about what you're supposed to do, things that you have to complete, and your standards. Let's see if this, yeah. Okay, so for an art, early and middle childhood teacher, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 standards. Some of you guys have like 9 standards for component 2. It varies differently. So this would be standard 1, goals of art education. And so you would fill this out, standard 1, goals of art education. Okay, hopefully that's clear. Then we're going to scroll down. What's the next thing we have to do? What is the total number of pages that you can submit in your commentary? You can find it excuse me. Okay. What do I need to do? Here's what do I need to submit. So that's about, now we're on page 3 of the instructions. So they have broken it down. The written commentary is 11 pages. So here, 11 pages. How are the page allocations broken down in each section? Okay, so here we go. You're not going to find that here. You'll find it further on. This is why I kind of like showing this to you because it can be hard to find. Here we go. Instructional context, planning instruction, analysis of instruction and assessment, and reflection. Your categories will be slightly different. So, instructional context, suggested page length. Where do we find that? It's going to be further on. Instructional, now you're probably having trouble reading this. Instructional context, suggested length 2 pages. So you would write here, instructional context, and 2 pages. Most of you will find that your instructional context is 1 page. Okay, then go on. Planning instruction, 3 pages. So you'd write it down here. Planning, and I'm not going to, instruction, 3 pages, okay? And so forth and so on. Okay, now, what must you demonstrate in this component? This usually is, we're going to go back up. What must you demonstrate in this component is under that what must I do? Demonstrate how the design, so this whole thing here, you could just copy and paste this in, okay? That's what you're going to put here. What is your major evidence of your teaching ability that you must show? That's photo storyboard in this entry and assessment materials. These are the additional materials outside of your written commentary that you're attaching as evidence. Most of us in our certificates, it applies to student work. And what is the source of the student work? In other words, is it a video or is it papers? Is it writing? Is it math test? What is it? How many samples of student work must you include? That's all going to be in your instructions here. How many focus students? Some of you guys have one student, some of you have two. I don't think anybody has more than two, but I may be wrong. And what's the time period that the work must be drawn from? So some of the certificates are very clear. It must be within 3 weeks, and some are not. It's open-ended. And what matters, this is something that I hope that as you complete this, you will collaborate with your support provider and the other people in your group to see if you all agree on what matters, what's important. And that's it for this document, except after you've completed it, now start thinking about a lesson sequence that you could use that would lend itself best to this activity, to this component. Okay, don't save that. Now I'm going to close this up and we're going to go back to this PowerPoint. I think I'm done. Showed you that already. Okay, so get busy. Thanks. Bye.